So hi and welcome to Lisa Unplugged. Join me as we talk about historical missing items from a whole room right up to a samurai sword and all in between. The video is centered around a fireplace because you tend to sit around fireplaces in the winter, all nice and cozy, and just discuss things, hence the fireplace. So enjoy. Let's get started. So the first thing we're actually going to talk about is the Amber Room. Now, the Amber Room was in the Catherine Palace near St. Petersburg. I say was because in World War II it went missing. It was looted, dismantled, and basically went missing. Now, the Amber Room is made up of amber panels backed with gold leaf and mirrors. Now, in 1944, it was said to be in the basement of a castle. Now, unfortunately, that castle was destroyed. Hence us losing the only documentation we had of the room because it was no longer there. That was the last place that they knew about it. Now, there's 450 kilograms of amber panels that make up this room. It's a priceless piece of art. Now the pressing question is, where is the Amber Room? So the next item on the list is the Florentine diamond. Now it's also known as the Tuscany diamond. It's of Indian origin and it has a weight of 137.27 carats. It has a yellowy green tinge to it. Now, it was cut for Charles the Bold, Duke of Burgundy. Now, on the 5th of January 1477, it went missing. Now, apparently Charles was wearing it when he was in the Battle of Nancy. Now, when he died, somebody was said to have taken it off his person. Several people, including Pope Julius II, is named to have been one of the owners after Charles of this diamond, yet now it is missing from the public eye. Nobody knows where it is. So the pressing question is, who has the Florentine diamond? So this next one, I for some reason feel personally drawn to this and I'm not sure why. So the Hanjo Masamune samurai sword, created by Gogo Masamune between 1288 and 1328 AD, is said to have been passed down from shogun to shogun. Now this is a priceless Japanese culture. It was lost during the US occupation of Japan. Now, there's a few random stories here. It was last known to be owned by a guy called Tawika Lemasa at the end of World War II. Now, in 1945, apparently he surrendered the Honjo Masamune and 13 other prized heirloom swords to the police in Japan. Apparently, the sword was then handed over to a Sergeant Coldy Binmore. The only problem is, there is no record of any US sergeant with that name. So the question is, where is this priceless sword? Who has the Hanjo Masamune? So this one's a bit of a freaky one. The brain of John F. Kennedy. Now, JFK was the 35th President of the United States of America and was fatally shot in Dallas, Texas in 1963. Now, his brain apparently was removed and preserved for further study. There's a few theories out here as to where his brain ended up. Now, the first theory is that it was taken out because it shows the evidence that the shot came from the front and not the back, as the Warren Commission said. The other theory is that Robert Kennedy took it to hide With no ill effects of hiding evidence, he was trying to hide how ill his brother was and how much medication he was actually on at the time. Why you would take a president's brain out is beyond me. Why he didn't go to Arlington Cemetery with the rest of his body, but okay. So JFK's brain is still missing to this day. So, Leonardo da Vinci did many manuscripts, and when he died, Francesco Malzi, a pupil of da Vinci, received the manuscripts as inheritance. After Malzi passed away, the documents were lost, scattered, some were stolen, while others were given away as gifts by Malzoni. The ones we currently have today are only a fifth of the Da Vinci bodies of works. So basically, we have next to nothing of Da Vinci's work because it was stolen, lost, scattered, or given away as gifts. Can you imagine what that man created? So the next one is Amelia Earhart's plane. While circumnavigating the globe, she was lost over the Pacific Ocean. There's still no location of her whereabouts of the body or the plane. I have seen countless documentaries trying to retrace this woman's steps, and none have ever found where Amelia ended up. It's sad, but I'm sure one day we will find her. So next on my list is the Library of Alexandria. Now this had the biggest collection of works in the world, including more than 500,000 ancient texts from Egypt, Greece, India and Persia. Now apparently, and I say apparently, I'm doing air quotes like you can see me, the blame lies with fire. Apparently it was set on fire. Whether it was deliberate or not is one theory. The other theory claims that the Romans destroyed it, but in actual fact we have very little evidence of what actually happened to this library. Now, for me, this has got all the ancient texts in it, from ancient Egyptian text right up till not so much modern day, but right up until the start of the Bible, if not beyond that. So what would that library have held? What would that library have told us? It is genuinely a shame that the Library of Alexandria no longer exists. Now, the next one is the Jules Rimet Trophy. This was given out at the First World Cup in 1930, and it was then handed from champion to champion every 4 years. Now, when Brazil won for the third time in 1970, they were allowed to keep it, but in 1983 it was stolen, never to be seen again. I wonder how much that trophy's worth now. Now, this one I'm going to probably struggle with. The complete Bayeux tapestry. Now, this tapestry was 230 feet long, 165 feet tall. It was created in the 11th century and it showed the Norman conquest of England in 1792. Now, the tapestry, unfortunately, was split up to be used by the military to cover military wagons. So basically, they cut a tapestry into strips, which is really nice of them. Historians are still attempting to put it back together, but have found that pieces are missing. Another historical artefact which just has been left to rack and ruin as usual. Number 10. This is technically the last missing item. Michelangelo's Leda and the Swan. This depicts the god Jupiter seducing Leda, the queen of Sparta. Now, there isn't much of a record of how the picture went missing, because that's all it is, it's just a picture. But there are theories out there that it was too sexual and was destroyed in years later. Now, last but no means least, and in this technically there is no confirmation or no record of this being missing, and yet there's no record of it not being missing, and it's called the High Priestess breastplate. It features 12 precious stones corresponding to the 12 tribes of Israel. It featured artistic images designed in the fabric. Now, this is where the birth of birthstones came from. The breastplate is a garment worn by the high priest when serving in the holy temple. Now, the rumours that they're saying this was lost and is with the Ark of the Covenant, but that's just a rumour, although the Ark of the Covenant is still missing. Now, according to legend and history, this breastplate with the 12 birthstones on, because that's what they called them, is the reason we now have birthstones. I did, after reading that today, I actually went and looked at what mine and Paul's birthstone was. And mine is diamond. Like, I don't need diamonds, you know. Obviously, we all need diamonds. And Paul's is ruby. And I think it was 2004, they actually changed it again. So we had an original set of birthstones, and then in 2004, they actually changed it and gave us either a new birthstone or changed it from one to the other, because topaz was added in later on after the original birthstones. Anyway, so that's it for this episode. That was technically 11 missing items, although one isn't confirmed to be missing nor confirmed not to be missing. Nobody seems to know what it is. I just hope that someday we find these missing items and actually bring them back to the light of the public and let us see what they actually look like. Have a wonderful evening. Bye for now.